I was thinking one of the really basic applications of this work is work that I've done for over 20 years now in change management, and that has primarily been focusing on where the human beings are at, you know, looking at the human factor of change on people in the workplace primarily. And the first thing I noticed that for most people it's the first existential question, thought that they've ever had in their life, when suddenly the real, you know, especially 20 years ago, the normal code of behaviour and interaction with your workmates and everything else, which was going to carry on until you retire, was suddenly disappeared, gone, and you were down the road and you had to find out another place, another type of work. You had to really be incredibly creative and adaptive in yourself. And I found that a lot of my early work helped this model, and so I used it when I've got maybe only 2 sessions with an individual, and you have, you know, the whole spectrum of the workplace being involved at different times, and you have to find something that they can make sense out of, to make sense out of themselves where they're at. So one of the things that I've done as time has gone on is that I've used, I might have them for 2 sessions. So I say the first session we'll look at your resume, your curriculum vitae, CV. Now I do that not just to see if they've got one, because quite a lot of people still these days don't even have a very good one. And then I look at preparation for interview. So in 2 sessions, these people are able to use a whole range of methods to find out what they're really good at, what are their key strengths, and how you can show that with examples in your experience. And then I say for most jobs you're looking at probably 12 examples of your work that will show some of the competencies that you've got as good communicator, good at your technical skills, or whatever it happens to be. So that about a week before you have your interview, you can use the self-awareness triangle. You write out, say it's communication, you've got 3 examples in communication. So on Monday night, you got the interview on Thursday. Monday night, you go through those 3 sentences that summarise those 3 aspects of yourself and communication. As you go to sleep, just go through those. If you wake up in the middle of the night, write down what comes up. And then when you wake up in the morning, have another wee think about that. So what you're doing is you're preparing yourself for the interview at a deeper level. So you're putting deeper memory into what you are and who you are in the interview. Of course you go to the interview with your pieces of paper and all your information there next to you in a nice orderly fashion that you can reach down and say, I have an example here which flip, flip, flip. And they think that's good, you're well prepared, you know, you've got your aide-memoire with you. But what actually happens is when you're in that interview, as soon as you go in the interview room, you get the job or not in the first few seconds you walk in the door. First impressions. You only get 1 chance at first impressions. And you walk in and you, with your awareness, detachment, you look around and you say, that one's with me, that one's possibly, and that one's certainly not. So these are the 2 I need to focus on. So when they are asking you questions, you can be yourself. You don't have to have paper with you. You don't have to read paper. You can read them instead. And one of the sad realities, of course, even today in so-called scientific scientifically well set up interview processes and all the rest of that, most of the people interviewing you are not all that self-aware and not really all that clued up around about interviewing. Some are really good, but generally not. So you are in a very powerful position where you can actually take control over the interview. And I say to people, you're not having an interview, you're having a conversation. So that you've got the words, you've done all that work there, it's within you. All you have to do is sit back and have a conversation with these people. And you can use your minimal encouragers and say, that was an interesting question. And you see them feel happy. I often say to people, the best interview you can have is when they do all the talking. Because those people are unaware about the fact that they will feel good about this interview if they've done the talking. Because they've been telling you what a wonderful person they are, how amazing they are, and how creative they are, and all this sort of stuff. So you sit there and you go, that's amazing. So you were able to do that on your own. That's great. I reckon I could add a bit of value in there. Of course, not inflating your position above theirs, but you could say, I could do some of the spade work around that. It would make you look really good when I do that. So one of the things you can use your self-awareness triangle is by learning how you put your CV together in a way that makes you feel good about yourself and comfortable expressing your positive good qualities and getting clarity around that, putting that into a deeper memory and enjoying your interview. And many clients come back to me and they say, I had 2 or 3 interviews, and by the time I got to the 3rd one, I was really enjoying it, and I got that job, right? So you can really maximize expressing your positive qualities and showing them examples of it and get yourself into those positions because you are connecting with those people at an emotional level in a positive way. And that can be only but good when you're trying to get a position, right? So you're dealing almost from a gut to a gut level or a heart to a heart level, not just head to head. And it's another example of how you can use this in a quite important practical way in this day and age.